Hey, greetings everyone, I am Thomas the Retro Nerd, reviewing the games good or bad. About 9 months ago, SEGA announced that they're going to bring back some classic IPs but with new installments, and one of those IPs is one of my favorites, Crazy Taxi. So, in celebration of SEGA making some brand new video games aside from Sonic, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the original arcade game, and of course to cook something up before my big Halloween special next month, I decided to take some time to talk about one of my favorite SEGA games.
This can allow me to talk about the Dreamcast, the first and only SEGA console from my childhood. Crazy Taxi started as an arcade game developed by SEGA AM3, not to be confused by SEGA AM2, the same studio that did Virtua Fighter and Daytona USA. Keiji Kano, when working on Crazy Taxi, had an idea of an arcade game that once the player gets better at it, the longer they could play it. Instead of a game where you get 3 minutes of gameplay from 1/4, you got less than 3 minutes and could get time added onto the clock the better you got at it. When it was released in 1999, there were 2 cabinets released. I don't like the stand-up one because it feels awkward to me. I'm mostly familiar with the sit-down version, especially during my vacation times with my dad in Pennsylvania. The game's success quickly got a port on the Sega Dreamcast the following year.
Get your punk license back.
I know.
What I got on you? You drive through the mall, the subway, city park. You like a domain.
That was some big air.
What's your problem?
Hey, that's what I get paid for. I made some serious cake that day. So let's pop this game in and discuss why Crazy Taxi is still a blast and why you should play it.
Hey, come over, have some fun with Crazy Taxi!
As you start the game, you get a choice of 4 cab drivers to pick from. Yet, I choose Axel since he's my favorite.
Axel. Alright, let's get it on!
In terms of gameplay, this is the definition of a game that's easy to learn and hard to master. Like the title implies, you're a taxi driver who drives crazy. The goal of the game is to get people to the destination quick enough to make money. You have 50 seconds to deliver people to their destinations across the map. And depending on the amount of people and money you make, you'll get a grade to your license at the end of each game when time runs out.
Awesome! That's it! You're the crazy coolest cat I've ever seen! Can you get any better?
You can rack up some extra tips from the customers by doing tricks like jumping, drifting, and swerving through other cars. You crash into other cars, you lose your combo.
So by playing through this game, I realized you get money by doing various dangerous tactics. In reality, there will be lawsuits up the ass and puked out your mouth.
The controls are simple. You use the right trigger for the acceleration, steer with either the joystick or the D-pad, I use the D-pad most of the time, and use A and B to shift gears. According to the manual, the game is also compatible with the rally wheel accessory, but sadly I never owned one. It kind of emulates the arcade cabinets. You can gain some boosts in this game by shifting the gears. That'll help you out when you're slowed down. People you can pick up and give a ride to are easy to distinguish from normal people because they will have an icon above their head with a $sign. The only difference between the customers is the distance of the destination, which you can tell by the color of the sign above them. The red ones are the shortest, the orange ones are the medium, the yellow ones are a little further, and the green ones are the furthest from their destination. While the green ones take longer to drive, they also pay more, so there is a really good risk-reward system when playing this game. Do you take care of the customers that are closer and do more of them quickly? Or spread yourself to take care of the harder customers who are far from their destination? Whatever the case, the game is replayable, and by playing it, you'll probably find a strategy to make as much money as possible. The biggest strategy is also running on luck. In order to keep your pace going, you have to be lucky that the customer's destination lets you loop around the map. I hate getting those customers that force me to go back. It wastes time.
The worst thing I hate in this game is the collision.
The objective of the game is to get to the destination fast. However, with the traffic around the road, your crash causes you to bounce more than a ball in a pachinko machine.
Would you keep your eye on the road?
What in the actual fuck?
Or how about the times I try to land on the destination only to fall off the edge, missing my mark?
You have to be mother.
Since this is on the Dreamcast, SEGA, when porting it, also added a little extra content such as a new map, which I never really played much of when turning on the game, since the original map is easier to navigate. There are now options for the amount of time in the game, and even an extra mode called the Crazy Box. Crazy Box is really just a series of challenges to help you get better at certain techniques like crazy drifting or picking up speed. Nothing too crazy, no pun intended, but it's a nice little addition to the game to help players get better. It's a lot like Break the Targets in the older Smash Bros. Games, which are meant to help the players to learn about fighter movesets. Overall, while Crazy Taxi may not be perfect, aside from a few weird collision issues and a map that isn't that well designed, this is still a fun game to go back and try to perfect. An easy to learn game, but a hard one to master. Oh, and how about we mention the soundtrack composed by some of the most rockin' tunes, mostly from the Offsprings.
Just shut up and let's roll.
And don't forget the classic. However, I can't play them for too long because of YouTube's copyright system. Graphically, this game still holds up great too as an early 6th generation console title. While no game is perfect, this game is still great and is worth adding to your collection. If you have a Dreamcast, you should definitely consider adding this game to your collection. Whether it's on the original Dreamcast or you pick up the PS2 version or GameCube, both are fine aside from the fact that SEGA got lazy with the box art. But you see, this is only half the story, as we later got a Dreamcast exclusive sequel, Crazy Taxi 2, released nearly 2 years later in 2001.
Now here's a fast fact for you all, which is also a sad one. The Dreamcast was sadly discontinued at the end of March of 2001. Wanna guess why? I need to bring this up because this game was actually released in May of that year, months after the console was discontinued. Just don't get it.
Seriously, why do companies still make games for consoles long after they're discontinued? Alone in the Dark: A New Nightmare was released in September of 2001, 6 months later. But aside from that, how does this stack up when compared to the original? Well, let's pop the game in and find out.
We're back. It's Crazy Taxi 2.
So the game starts like the original, where it hits you with the radicalness. The game features 4 new characters to play as. I am torn between Iceman and Slash. Haha, no.
Johnny Knoxville looking ass.
The premise is the same, but the controls have been updated. For example, you have a hop technique. You press the Y button to use it.
Yep, this game just turned into a platformer.
This technique will help you get your customers to their destination faster. There are 2 maps that you can play around with. Round Apple and Small Apple are both based on New York City.
New York City!
Both of them are designed well and I welcome them. The other mechanic they added is that you carry multiple customers at once. They each have their own destinations and you don't get paid until all of them are dropped off. Since this is my first time playing this game, my performance in this game is poor.
I need more practice if I want to unlock the original characters.
Aside from the crazy box from the original, we have the crazy pyramid. More crazy challenges to practice the new jump technique. That's awesome. There's even a replay mode to view your performance from different angles. Sound-wise, despite the new characters, they reused some of the voice clips from the original game.
It's party time. Let's have some fun.
It makes it awkward when you get the announcement at the beginning where it sounds completely different.
Crazy Taxi 2.
Then again, for the majority of the time, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The soundtrack still provides songs from the Offsprings and Methods of Madness, and they still rock hard like the original songs from the first game. Well, there's nothing else to say here. Crazy Taxi 2 is a good sequel. With enough practice, I will definitely get better at this. After all that, we have one last game that I do want to talk about.
You think Crazy Taxi 3 is going to be the last one I'm going to talk about, but no, I don't consider it as a sequel because it's basically a port of the first 2 games with no added gameplay elements.
Another thing, this is an Xbox exclusive game. And look, do you see an Xbox console here?
I never supported Microsoft during the home console market. So instead, let me explain why porting this kind of game doesn't work.
This is Crazy Taxi Catch a Ride, and my question is, how did you put this into this?
Now I'm scared.
Crazy Taxi.
Okay, let me try to be professional here. Crazy Taxi Catch a Ride is the worst excuse of a port that SEGA has ever published. Bless my heart to SEGA AM3, who is known as Hitmaker, but comparing the two is like night and day. Not everything works on a small cartridge. Graphics are not a major thing for games, but one look at this game and it makes my eyeballs throw up. It's all pixely, AF, and you can see it's an eyesore. Yeah, I know, they couldn't handle this on the console, but I still see it as shit. The controls are awful. Steering is even stiffer than the original because you're using a D-pad instead of a joystick. Also, A is for acceleration for this game, but the shoulder buttons shift the gears. To do the boost trick like in the original, you have to hold R and double tap A to activate. That's not the only major problem I witnessed. What the hell? I'm at the fire station mark and the game didn't register!
How? How?
Unbelievable. This is all kinds of bad. I'd say it's worse than Sonic Genesis, and that game is outright trash! Besides, these are not the only examples of crappy remakes on the GBA. I'm waiting for the right time when I tackle Earthworm Jim. I didn't mention the music much because...
Ow! Why do I want that scratchy music so loud?
This is the type of music that makes your ears bleed. In the end, it was ambitious that the SEGA team managed to pull this off, but at the end of the day, it's just the worst port of a great arcade game. Forget about this and just stick with the original arcade version. It's way more worth your time.
Well, that's all I have to say about the Crazy Taxi games that are worth mentioning. Fire Wars on the PSP is basically just a port of the first two games.
Despite the limitations on the console, it was ambitious that the SEGA team pulled this off. Besides, this was also the only time Crazy Taxi 2 was re-released outside of the Dreamcast.
And City Rush is basically a mobile game.
Yo, cool! Awesome!
I saw it and it looks like crud.
I'm hoping we get more details for the new installment besides the Power Surge trailer. And I'm hoping the new Crazy Taxi game turns out great.
Well, I guess that's all I have to say right here. I'm Thomas the Retro Nerd. Thank you all for watching. See you guys in the next review. Take 20, I think. There! And SEGA announced in their Power Surge trailer. Get it right! The trailer, they're gonna bring. Man, I feel like I'm stuttering. That is forcing me to stop. I don't get it. There's sometimes where I'm about to stutter in the middle of a line that is forcing me to stop talking and ruin a take. I hate it. One fucking take. Do it in one fucking take! Classic IPs, but with new assignment. Assignments? Oh, God! Citizen! Yes! 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 Finally got it! Oh, took me, I don't know how many takes, like 30? But I finally got it in one take.